Today we're down on Mersea Island for a voyage I'm very, very excited about. We're going to be launching from here and paddling all the way around through onto Maldon. A little trip I've wanted to do for ages now, but you have to wait for all the right conditions, and today is literally perfect apart from the cold temperatures. Big thanks to the workhorse at the front doing a shuttle run for me at the other end and helping me launch. Probably about 15 miles round to Maldon. The tide's just coming in, so we've got a good couple of hours until it reaches high tide. Got a little bit of an onshore wind, which is going to keep us nice and safe and against the coast. And to help us get around there, we're going to be using the little secret weapon. Turn this on.
Test run it before you
Before I commit.
Yep, it's working. Oh, yep.
Got some power?
Yep.
Right. See you in a couple of hours. 20 past 1. Yep. All right. See you later. Let's get going. Pop that into drive. Give me a little bit of a helping hand. This is the only actual part I'm going to be paddling against the tide. So we'll get on up and around this corner of the estuary, and then it'll be taking us straight on into Maldon. We had a little look at an OS map earlier and done some real basic planning, and the plan is to go right of the oyster shed, up the estuary past sort of like the Salcott and the Tollesbury turning, stick to the left hand side of Mersea Island, and then go to the right hand side of Mersea Island. I think that's the best route to get there, and it will give us much depth as possible going round. I'll tell you what, this water is absolutely delightful. Nice few poo particles floating around in here. And you've probably seen when we're launching, but the secret weapon of this paddle is the E-fin. I'm just going to keep it in drive for most of the day. It's got about 3 to 4 hours battery life in drive mode apparently. So I'm not going to use a sport mode, I'm just going to paddle along with it. And I would like to do this route by paddle power alone, but it's literally a couple of degrees today. There's not going to be anyone else out in the water, so if I get into a spot of trouble, at least I know the electric fin, I can point myself landward pretty easily and get there at some point without hopefully too much drama. And the plan is to not go in the water. I repeat, I do not want to go in the water, but obviously if I do, I'm semi-prepared to take a cold dunk, and then hopefully I can use the E-fin or jump back on the board to get to the land, do a couple of star jumps. And today, literally every other condition apart from the temperature was ticked for an attempt today. We've got perfect tides, a nice high tide coming in at about like 3:30, I think the high tide is. So we've got ages to get round there in the daylight. We've got a very small onshore wind of about 8 knots or so. So the water's lovely and calm, and it just so happens to fall on a day where I'm free. And luckily mum and dad are free, so I can get a shuttle ride off them, which is really handy. Thanks mum and dad. And on the whole, I'm traveling pretty light today. I've got some lunch with me, a couple of drinks, a few emergency bits and pieces in there, but I'll show you all that a little bit later on. I'll tell you what, I'm glad I've got this little film whirring away at the back there, because it's not actually going that quick. I mean, I put it in some medium sort of power strokes, so I've got a long old paddle ahead of me. But if I didn't have it, I'd be making not a lot of progress against this tide and wind at the moment. But I can't wait until around this corner, because I'm going to be paddling with the tide and I won't be going directly into the wind. So we're going to be picking up some pace in a minute. Here's the first major milestone of the trip, the packing shed. Now, just got to aim towards Bradwell Power Station, and then hopefully we'll get the sight of Mersea Island around the corner. Oh, I'm making some pitiful progress. I think if I was going to do this again, I'd come in between the oyster shed and the little island off of Monkey Beach, because I'm not really very protected right in front of me. But at least on that side, I think I might have got a bit of protection from the other little island. But yeah, sweaty work. This is technically a shortcut, but I think it would have been easier to go the other way. I mean, that tide's coming in here with some absolute pace. I'll show you on this buoy how fast the water's whizzing down that channel. You'll see what I'm up against. Probably looks like naff oil on camera, but it's fair old pace. I'm just focused on that little sandbar there. Look at that, for a beautifully calm ocean. That is nice and flat. And I've just realised that you guys are unfortunately going to have the whirring away of the electric motor the whole way through this video pretty much, so yeah, I can only apologise about that one, but all part and parcel, wasn't it? And this point here just round this corner is going to be the furthest out that I'm going to be on this trip, so a nice safe little paddle for a cold winter's day. It was a tough start to the paddle, but at this point I was optimistic and full of enthusiasm. I really thought this was going to be the most difficult part of the journey, and once I was round this bend, the rest of it was going to be easy. But I was wrong. Woo! Come on then. There we go, around that point, Mersea's miles back in the distance. Got Bradwell to my left. Gonna have to smash it straight down this channel here. I can't actually say I can see OC Island yet and be sure of it. It might be that bit of sand up there, but I think it's a bit further than that. But I'm pretty sure that's Radio Caroline with the big red bottom. So we're gonna aim it up here now, hopefully make some quicker progress. I'm gasping for a drink to be fair, but I think that's taken me way longer than I predicted. I thought that was going to take about 15-20 minutes to get from Mersea to this point here, and I'm pretty confident it's taken way longer than that. My Garmin's on charge at home, which is really handy, I forgot that. So I'm not entirely sure what the time is, but I've got my phone. I'm just going to crack onto OC Island, 'cause that's about the halfway point. I'll reassess the time. If I've completely missed the tide and it's taken way longer than expected, then I've got Gold Hanger and Haybridge Basin is easier, closer get outs. Even OC Island, I guess I could get out on the causeway, just paddle round to there, but I'm not going to stop for a drink now because I'm just going to lose time and ground. I could land over there and have it, but it's just too much faffing, so let's keep on going, make some good ground and get down into Maldon as quick as these birds. When you're a bit more out in the middle here, it's kind of hard to gauge your speed, so we'll go past this buoy and we're definitely making much better progress than we were before, and it's nice to see that the current's kind of going this way. So yeah, if I'm heading that way, it'll kind of like push me up around the corner. Now we can see these sandbanks here a bit closer in. That's definitely not OC Island. I think that's sort of like all the sand that's been dumped off the edge of Tollesbury from the dredging from like Harwich or Felixstowe or somewhere, according to my dad anyway. So yeah, OC Island's going to be well beyond that, and we're going to aim left of OC Island. When you're doing a bit more of a longer sort of like endurance type paddle, I always have this battle in my head with how hard to work. So it was similar when I was doing the Thames. Like, the harder you paddle and the more momentum you keep up, the less effort each stroke is. But on the other hand, the more intense you're working, and like your heart rate's higher, you're going to be burning more calories, you're going to be dehydrating quicker. So I'm not smashing this paddle. I think the Ethan's definitely helping out, but to be honest, it's pretty tough even with it, to be fair. And I'm not even halfway there. So yeah, I'm just going to keep a nice steady pace, plod along, stick the paddle in, put it back, repeat, repeat, repeat. It doesn't really matter how long this takes today, as long as it's not dark or the tide's turned too much and causing me too much resistance going against it. So as long as I'm up there, that end between sort of 3:30 and 4, honestly, I'm just going to keep on slugging away. This is like the entrance into Tollesbury. All those white houses are in Tollesbury, so it makes sense. And we're just going to stay in this channel, keep plodding forwards. Can't really see Maldon yet. I think it might be tucked a bit more around the corner and behind obviously a couple of islands, so it'll come into view a lot later, to be fair. And I'm probably still not getting much assistance from the tide. The tide's probably trying to like pull me in that way a little bit at the moment. But once I get past this little island here, I should be well within the channel. I might actually go out to the deepest point to get a bit of extra pull, and then I'll finally be properly with the tide. Now this little sandbar thing is actually pretty well established. It's actually way bigger than I thought it was going to be, and it's got some shrubs and stuff on there. Maybe even established enough for a little wild camp one day. That'd be pretty sick. I'd either have to paddle or swim over to there, but I can see where the high tide mark gets to with the seaweeds. It's almost at the peak of the sand, so might be doable on a low tide one day. Now I have been up this estuary before, but doing it, bloody hell, doing it on a paddleboard and using a bit of manpower, you appreciate how absolutely freaking huge this bit of water is. I don't even think I can see OC Island yet. I think it must be well up and around there. So I reckon we've still got a good couple of hours left to paddle in. Now I'm going to try and head over towards sort of Radio Caroline, just because I think it'd be sick if I went past there and someone's working. They're like, right mate, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm paddleboard. And they're like, oh, do you want to come for a cup of tea? I'll be like, fuck yeah. That'd be sick. So I'm going to drift on past there, see if I can get a little invite onto there, because that'd be funny. And then hopefully I'll get a good view of OC Island from there and I'll go straight for it. Oh, Radio Caroline. Ow, ow, ow. I don't know if you can see that, but I'll zoom in if I can. How ironic, on the old war pillbox, you've got the peace and love symbol. Well, it's either peace and love or someone's put the PSG badge on there. One of the two. I'm just a bit further out into the channel now and I can kind of see what looks to be like the formation of an island there, where like the land splits. So I'm assuming that little tree-lined patch of area there is OC Island, and that's still absolutely miles away. And the sort of like slightly greyer sort of tree line in the background, I'm assuming that's Maldon. That is miles. That's like proper on the horizon. But we are well and truly committed now, and there's only one place I'm getting off this paddleboard, and that is at Maldon Promenade, so we better keep on going. This might be a bit of an unnecessary sort of mission going across to this Radio Caroline. It's putting unnecessary miles into my paddle, but it's not every day you paddle past it, so in my opinion worth a detour. And there's a sailing boat out, first person I've seen on the water today. Nice to see someone else out here getting it all year round. But I'm definitely getting help with the tide, but it feels like the wind's coming more onto me now, so the wind might change a little bit. It looked like it's supposed to come like a crosswind like that, so it's not too far off what I was expecting, especially when we get around that corner a little bit more. But it's good to see with this buoy there's sort of like a smooth patch of water after it, so the general flow of water's going that way, which is good in my direction. I thought on the big turn was going to be the choppiest we'd see the sea, but it's actually getting worse up here. But I guess because we're going into the wind a little bit, the top of the waves just coming off and crashing into me. Well, top of the waves, like, they're not exactly breaking or nothing, but yeah, the waves are rolling into me quite nicely, so I'm having to keep on guard, because if I relax too much, it could send you off, and we do not want that. Hope these guys don't get the cannons out thinking I'm some sort of pirate. Doesn't look like there's a great deal of activity on board, can't see any lights on or anything, but I assume someone's on there today, being a Monday. Do they work? I don't know what their broadcasting times are like, but you can see the big radio tower there. I've actually shamefully overshot this. I've literally come right to the back end of it, and I'm not struggling to get closer, but I'd have to put in quite a little bit more effort to get a bit closer to it. But it feels like I'm just getting pulled inland, which is great news, because when I turn around here, hopefully I'm going to fly up to Maldon Prom. And we'll get a little bit closer. Just seeing the seal go down over there. I wonder if it's going to come over and check me out. That'd be awesome if it does. Oh, literally I'm getting dragged away from old Caroline. I'm going to give up. That's as close as we're going to get. But that is a pretty big butt. To Maldon we go. And I'm going to keep my eyes out for that little seal. I saw the little seal, he's over there somewhere. I just saw his little head pop up again. I wonder if he'll come any closer. I'm sure he's very, very curious. He might actually keep his distance a little bit because of that electric fin in the water. It might spook him a little bit. There he is. Little seal popping his head up. I'm literally turning, looking over my shoulder. I'm going to fall in. Hello, mate. Come over here and say hello. He loves it. It's the little like dogs of the sea, isn't it, the seals? And there he goes. Back under he goes. He is definitely interested. He's so bad he wants to come say hello. Right, I'm actually going to take a pew because I'm so thirsty, and that's OC Island there, and it's going to be a long, long time until I get a sip of water at this rate. So I'm going to leave the motor running and then have a little bit of water, see if that seal comes any closer, and yeah, just put the paddle in to steer here and there. And I'm aiming left of OC Island, so I want to keep on course that way-ish. All right, got 2 drinks, 1 water and 1 coffee. Let's have a bit of water, hydrate to operate, baby. Crumbs, that's good. Oh, wow. Woo, that is nice on the old throat. God, neck basically half of that then. I'm gonna have to ration that a bit. Now I can't really say I'm buzzing for this coffee, but it's liquid and fluid, isn't it? I think it's going to be cold now. See if it steams. Nah. Nice temperature to be fair. I put a bit of cold water in there to cool it down at home, so I didn't want to burn myself out here by literally swinging it back. God, I wasn't looking forward to that, but that was actually decent. We've barely been paddling since Radio Caroline, just been correcting my direction, and we actually made good progress. So the motor does definitely do something. Bottom's bloody up. So I have brought a nice easy lunch today. Not all that delicious, but definitely nutritious. Good old energy gel. Oh, good. I've actually got another one of those. So I'm going to smash another one of those ones quickly and get stood back up. Oh, we've still got a long way to go, folks. I'm going to put my head down and put some good paddling in. Got Mersea Island there, Northern Island's going to be tucked around the corner. I was originally thinking it might be that, but it's way too close, so must be further around the corner. I think we got a bit further than we was initially thinking when we were over at Radio Caroline. And I want to say it's Mersea Island's only really the halfway point. Plan is, I have no idea what the time is. The sun's gone, so I can't even roughly work it out from where it is away from the horizon. So I'm just gonna get to Mersea Island, check my phone, see what the time's like. If we've got enough time, we'll carry on going to Maldon. So guys, GoPro's just died on me. I know that this camera's audio is not as good because you've got the waterproof case around the outside, a bit blocking it a bit, but as long as you can hear me, that's the main thing. And I was saying, we're going to get to Mersea Island, which isn't too far away, it's bloody miles away, this camera. I'm going to get there and I'm going to check my phone, mainly just to get a gauge on time, because if we've got enough time, we're going to carry on going up to Maldon. If not, there's a causeway there, so I can paddle around and get out there somewhere. So if this tide turns and my battery on the E-thing goes, then yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it to Maldon, so we'll have to see how we get on and what the time's like and take it from there. I've made fairly good progress, still a fair way off Mersea Island, but we're getting there. I know that Mersea Island's not a little island, so it's going to take a little while to get along that coast as well. I've dropped down to knees, which I didn't really want to do, but needs are a must. I have to get out of the wind a little bit, that's slowing me down a little bit, so yeah, making better pace on my knees. I don't know how long my knees are going to last doing this. I'm sort of going from this position to like kneeling up every now and then. But I think we should be able to get to Mersea Island in the next sort of like half an hour. Sounds like a long way, but I don't see how it's going to be any quicker. Oh, we'll keep you updated as the slog continues. Right, I'm calling it. Oh, I feel like I've been going on this stretch for absolutely ages, and Mersea Island just doesn't seem to get any closer. And I've looked over my shoulder and I've noticed that Radio Caroline is sort of on the turn with the tide. So the tide is obviously turning now, so I'm just bailing. There's no way I'm going to make it like all the way up to Maldon, so I'm literally turning right. I'm going to get to land this side. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to land yet, but yeah, I want to sort of like get to the edge now because I've just not made much progress for ages. And I wasn't sure if it was like because I was so far away from any landmarks, I wasn't making much progress, or if like I was going but not really very far, but it's like literally it's so annoying. I feel like a right idiot, especially because it's literally 15 miles. Well, I can't paddle 15 miles for 3 hours with like the help of an E-fin. Like, I know I messed around with the GoPro and drone a bit and that, but yeah, mission failed, mission aborted, and yeah, I feel like a right idiot to be honest, because I failed, yeah. Couldn't do it. But this is actually the second time I've tried this. I've tried it before but didn't even get in the water because it was way too rough and not suitable conditions, so yeah, I bailed on that one. And now I'm bailed on this one again, so I don't know when I'll be trying this again, but I'll tell you what, I'm glad that I tried it with at least an E-fin and didn't attempt it without anything, because yeah, I'll be absolutely screwed if I did try that. So yeah, I'm going to paddle to the edge, I'll turn between my legs and try for me and Daddy to come rescue me. Well, I'm glad I did call that because the E-fin's died now, and I just phoned my mum and dad, obviously they're picking up the other end just to, for one, let them know I'm alright, and two, that I'm not making it to Maldon, nowhere near. So I'm literally paddling basically hard into the shoreline where I am now. I can see a house, so there's loads of fields around here, but I can't see a house, so there must be a road down to it somewhere. And when I looked at my phone, it was like 4:15. So the e-fin actually lasted for its recommended sort of what, like 3 to 4 hours or whatever it was on the normal drive mode. So yeah, time's obviously got on a bit. I kind of knew that from the position with Radio Caroline moving around the buoy. I knew the tide had turned, but I was never going to make it all the way into Maldon with or without the bloody e-fin. So yeah, I'm now just paddling straight into shore, sort of with the wind and at a right angle to the tide, and I'm barely moving. Literally, like worryingly, like not moving. Obviously, I'm not worrying because I've not got that far to get there now. But yeah, if I was in trouble, I'd be a little bit panicky right now. But panicking's the worst thing you can do. And yeah, like I said, I'm pretty much at the edge now anyway, so no biggie. But I was thinking, why am I going so slow? Have I got like those seaweed wrapped around the e-fin or something? Does that massively slow me down? So I assumed that must have been it. And I've taken the risk and I've put my hand underwater to try and have like a feel around, and there's absolutely nothing there. So what I'm thinking is, does the e-fin, obviously it's got a big bulky propeller on there, if you're paddling just sort of like normally with that on the back and the battery's dead, does that just make it really, really slow and inefficient? And with me paddling, does that sort of like slowly turn the propeller? It's like, or does the propeller just stay still and I've got to like push through that as well? So I'm thinking, if you're in trouble and you've got this e-fin that dies, you obviously can't use the electric, and your paddling powers sort of jeopardise a bit as well, to be fair. So yeah, that's definitely one to note down, and hopefully anyone watching this can learn from my dodgy adventure. I'm very sorry, Mr. Chelmsford, I grossly underestimated you, and yeah, failed massively. But it is what it is. This will get done. I'm going to do this again sometime. Maybe go Maldon to Mersea, but we'll see. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, whether it's maybe kayak, maybe a bit of wind power with the old sail, maybe in the summer I might do it without anything, just a good old biceps, but we shall see. Right, over and out, let's get to the side. Oh, hallelujah. Oh my god. Wow, that was draft. My mouth is so dry right now. Oh. Woo! Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Jesus. My mouth is so dry. Oh. We made it to some sort of land. I have no idea where we are, but obviously Mersea Island's there. I can't even speak properly on that. But yeah, mission failed. Get a little bit disheartened, a bit sort of like disappointed, deflated, annoyed at myself. But it's definitely taught me a right good lesson, and yeah, we'll pick up the paddle again and we'll try again another day and see where we get. We did have a few things sort of like, oh god, that bird feather's really stuck in there. Oh yeah, that is proper wedged. Oh no, maybe that's what slowed it down so much. To be fair, I can see loads of crap tangled around that. But I was thinking maybe all this bulk and stuff was just like slowing me down, and then obviously if that has stopped the propeller from moving, that's going to cause more resistance. make me go even slower, isn't it? So yeah, one to consider for next time that. And this is where we're getting an evac from. A lot of field and this bloody seawall for Parker around the side of it, so I'm going to have to hoik the old paddleboard down round over there somewhere now. There's a house there, so I thought I'd favour that house. There's going to be a road down to it somewhere, isn't there? So yeah, that's was my only option really, wasn't it? Oh. And yeah, I'd have definitely made better progress if I didn't go and visit old Radio Karen. But it wouldn't have taken that much time to mean that I would have got to Maldon anyway, so I don't think it really made a difference that I took a slight detour over there. To be fair, I was absolutely buzzing for this paddle, and that is because it was a proper adventure. And there was a few sort of scenarios which were unknown. I didn't quite know how long it was going to take. I didn't know exactly how far the E-fin was going to work, and yeah, it was just like quite loose plan, and there's lots of sort of possibilities, and that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it adventurous. But I had sort of like a rough backup plan if things didn't go right, and I needed to soften the luck. I have had a phone on me, had a power bank, had a charging cable, got a whistle, so I was pretty well prepared, and yeah, just didn't pay off, did it? So I'm a little bit gutted about that. So I hope you enjoyed that one. Don't be afraid to bail. I've bailed on this one just because it would have been unsafe to keep on going. We're losing light. The last thing I want to do is call out like a lifeboat rescue team. Just want to avoid that at all costs if possible. And remember, have fun, stay young. Mummy and Daddy, can you come and pick me up, please? Currently hiking the old paddleboard down some random lake in absolute middle of nowhere, Tolsbury / sort of like Tolson Darcy area, until I can get to my mum and dad, because I can't really send my location to mum because she ain't got no signal for internet, so she's trying to figure out by road name, so God knows how long that'll take. But one positive, I didn't have to go for a winter wetsuit, so it's one good thing about it, I suppose.